Hello, my name is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are doing my January Tipsy Wrap Up. Okay, first of all, I am pre-gaming to go out. I'm wearing my lesbian yarn bralette that I made. I finished it in my 24-hour reading and crocheting video, which I will link up here. If you haven't seen it, I really like that video. I'm wearing also this denim shirt that belongs to my fiance. So really, I'm giving peak gay vibes tonight. And here's the story. I realized that this video, if I edit it on time, is going to go out the day before Valentine's Day. So I was like, okay, I need a pink drink to drink in this video. So I was at the liquor store and I was like, what can I get that is pink? And lo and behold, look what I found. Kinky pink. There's not much left, obviously. I did not drink all of this tonight, but I did drink most of it tonight, so there's that. But, yeah, this is like a mango passion fruit, mango, passion fruit, and blood orange liqueur. So, and, I didn't like it when I first tried it, but it has grown on me. It's quite sweet, but, has a little bit of tartness to it, I think, from the blood orange, which I like. And it is very pink, which I like. So there's that. And yeah. This is the thing where every month I wrap up the books that I read in the previous month and also drink a fun drink. If you haven't been here before, there's a playlist link down below. These tipsy wrap-ups come in varying levels of tipsiness. We are, I would say, in terms of how 1 is the least tipsy I've ever been in a wrap-up and 10 is the most tipsy I've ever been in a wrap-up, I feel like we're like a 6 tonight. So, there's that. And also, I thought it would be fun. This is kind of inspired by Danielle's TLDR wrap up, where she did a couple of other faves, non-bookish faves, of the month. And I was like, that's super fun. Maybe I'll do that for 2025. But then I didn't think about it at all. I did not think even a little bit about what I would say for my faves. But I'm just gonna go for it. TV faves, The Traitors on Peacock is really good. I'm loving this season. I haven't watched it before, but I really am enjoying it a lot. I also was just watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which I have been thoroughly enjoying. I know it's kind of old at this point, but I've been enjoying it lately. Yeah, those are my TV faves. Music. I have a playlist called Moody Pigs Go to Jupiter, and it is Moody Judy, Big Pig, and Boys Go to Jupiter. And those are 3 bands that I love. So, Big Pig just released an album today. It's really good. I really like the song. It's called 9 to 5. I really like it. I also love Decimal. That's a good song. If you want to listen to Boys Go to Jupiter, Tilt-A-Whirl is the best one, for sure. And Moody Judy, listen to El Camino High or Ground Control. Good songs. And someone I know from my hometown just released an album today. Her band just released an album today. The band is called Professor Goldstein and the Adjuncts. And the album is called Songs About Dinosaurs. It's really good. And that's what I've been listening to lately the most. Also, K-pop faves. what's that song called? Drama by Espa. That's not the one I was thinking of, but it's really good. It's not that new, but it's really good. And Strategy by Twice, and Like a Flower by Irene from Red Velvet. Really good. So that's my music faves. Do I have any other faves besides books? Crocheting, as always. That's not new. That's my hobby fave. And food, just the same things I always eat: goldfish, cheese and crackers, and drinky drinks. So let's get into books. I feel like I did okay with that, having not prepared at all. Stats. We have stats to go over, and stats, as you know, are serious business. So I must put my drink down. In January, I read 11 books, 2,944 pages, 31.23 audiobook hours, and I spent 37.17 hours reading this month. I felt like I read a lot, and then I guess I didn't read as much as I thought I did, but I felt like I read a lot. Even though it's not my best month stats-wise, it is what it is. And then pages per book, 267.64. There were some long books, but there also were some really short books in there that dragged that average down. Spent an average of 8.27 days reading each book. My average rating was 3.64, which I feel like is kind of normal for me, and not bad. I read an average of 98.13 pages per day, and I spent an average of 1 hour, and 0.2 is 12 minutes, 1 hour and 12 minutes reading per day. So that's that. Genres. I read primarily fantasy, which really showed in my genre blanket square, which I would like to show you, but I don't want to get up. So it might be in another video. Maybe. I would like to show you my 2025 genre. I want to show you. I feel it's the first wrap up it's the first wrap up of the year. I want to show you my genre blanket plan for. No, I'm going to show it in the video you saw on Monday, which I haven't filmed yet. That's a great idea. If you want to see my genre blanket square, my genre blanket plans, and the January square for 2025, you should watch the video I posted on Monday, which was a 2024 wrap up, 2025 plans, Herkhead check-in, lots of things. I'm going to put a lot of things in that video. It might be long, I don't know, but I'm going to link it right there, and you should watch it. I read a lot of fantasy this month, followed by nonfiction. I read 2 nonfictions and then 1 each of contemporary, horror, and mystery thriller. Age demographics, I read a slight majority adult books, but I also read a ton of, I read 4 middle grade. 4? Really? And 1 young adult? That doesn't seem true, but I trust the spreadsheet, so we'll get there when we get there. Formats, perfectly even. Well, not perfectly even. 4 ebook, 4 physical, and 3 audiobook. This feels like a low audiobook month for me, actually. I feel like I read more with my eyeballs, and maybe that is why it feels like I read more this month, even though my stats don't reflect that. It's because it was fewer audiobooks. As to where I acquired these books, mostly from the library, 2 NetGalley books this month, 1 from Spotify and 1 that I owned. That's always a win. Ratings, nothing bad. That's good. That's good that there was nothing bad. 3 3 stars, 3 3.5, 4 4 stars, and 1 4.5. We love to see it. And a new graph this month. This is very exciting. I love this graph that I just started making. And it does spoil all of the books I read, but You're about to hear about them anyway. So this is my daily pages graph. So each color is a different book, and it's the number of pages that I read of each book each day. So you can see there was a stretch in the middle, 15, 16, 17 of January. I did not read it at all. Don't know what was going on those days. But on the 9th, I read over 500 pages total, which is awesome. And you can just kind of see the distribution of what I read throughout the month. And I just love this graph, and I'm so excited to be making it all year and showing you. And yeah, that's that. Let's move back to the middle and talk about the books that I read individually. The first book that I finished in January was A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Now, the Earthsea series is one of my fiance's favorites. She loves it. And so for her birthday, which was in October, she asked for a set of the books. And I got her this beautiful illustrated compendium of all of the books and all of the short stories in that world. And so it's like a thick book, big book, like large and also thick. But it has all 6 books in the Earthsea series and also all the short stories and other works and maps and things. And the foreword and an afterword and, all of the things that appear in a compendium. And I also promised that I would read these. So, I read the first one in January, and I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was like where it lost points, like in quotes, is it just was like kind of old school fantasy in a way that it didn't feel very fresh or new, but like obviously it was written in the 60s, so like other things are innovating upon it rather than like it being stale. Like if it was written today, it would be definitely stale, but it was not written today, so really it's not the book's fault. It's just like it decreased my enjoyment a little bit because it was like, this is so like kind of basic fantasy tropes. But it kind of created the basic fantasy trope, so it's totally not the book's fault. I do think there was some really interesting character work in this book, and I'm really excited to see where the series goes. I know the second one is my fiance's favorite, so I'm really looking forward to reading that one soon. And that's all I'll say about that. What's it about? It's a fantasy, very classic fantasy. That's all I'm going to tell you. Next, I read I finished Vladimir by Julia May Jonas, which is in my Danielle vlog, which I will link up there. My Friends Fave series from 2024. I read books that were my friends' faves. It's a 7-video series with 3 books in each one. And I'm really proud of that series, and I think you should watch it if you haven't already. You can click on the Danielle one, and then it's in a playlist with all of them. And yeah, I liked it. It took me a while, like, I didn't finish it until January, but I really liked it, but I gave it 4 stars, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's in that vlog. And then I read The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce, which is a mystery thriller. It's a thriller about a old sanatorium that has been converted to a hotel. And what am I going to say? Like, people get murdered. People go missing, they get murdered. That's the story. I liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was fun. It was engaging. It wasn't like more than that for me. It wasn't a great thriller, but it was good. I liked it. And that's kind of all I have to say. I don't really have to say much. I don't really remember much, if I'm being honest. It just was like a typical good thriller. And then I read The Paris Girl by Francelle Bradford White, which is it was a NetGalley arc. It was my December release for Herkyed. This is a nonfiction about, basically Francelle Bradford White is writing about her mother, who was who worked in the French Resistance during World War II. So the way I would pitch it is The Nightingale, but nonfiction. Like, it's about the French Resistance, but it's nonfiction, and it was really cool the way it was woven together with, like, stories that her mother had told her, as well as the diary entries from this woman who was instrumental in the French Resistance, and she was, like, 19 years old when the war started, and so it was just a really interesting perspective. I really liked it. I think there were some things in the way it was written that were not perfect to me. I gave it 3.5 stars, but I did really like the concept. I learned a lot about the French Resistance, and I thought it was a really interesting story. And I'm glad that Francelle Bradford White compiled her mother's stories in that way, because I think it's a really unique thing that we have access to. And then I read The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill. This was the first Tea Dragon graphic novel. I read the Tea Dragon series for the webcomic prompt for Herked. I'm not really into reading like a digital webcomic. That didn't feel like, I just was not into that. So, I wanted to read one that had been published into physical books. So I read the whole series this month in January, and I really liked it. I gave them all 4 stars. I'll just talk about them all now. I'm not a huge graphic novel reader. They're not my favorite, but I can enjoy them, and I did enjoy these. These were probably some of my favorite graphic novels I've read, honestly. These, and honestly, I liked these better than Heartstopper. So, like, probably the best graphic novel series I've read, actually. It's just about these tea dragons who, like, are little dragons that you take care of, like, people take care of them, and then if they brew the leaves that grow on the dragon's heads into tea, they get to re-experience the memories that they've had with that dragon. And it just was, like, so cozy and sweet. The whole series was so cozy, so sweet, so fun, and the art style was really nice. And these I classified as middle grade. I don't know if they necessarily are. Oh, the 4th middle grade was Earthsea. That's technically a middle grade, but it's like a classic middle grade. That's why I was surprised. I forgot the middle grade I classified as I forgot that Earthsea I classified as middle grade on my spreadsheet. That's why I was surprised by that stat. But, yeah, I really enjoyed these. I gave them all 4 stars. The Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Festival, and the Tea Dragon Tapestry. And my fiance and I have the Tea Dragon Society card game, which we haven't played yet, but I will definitely update you next month as to how we like it, because I'm really excited to play it now that I've read the books. And then I read Keeping Finance Personal by Elise Fulmore. Now, this was the Junie B. Jones nonfiction pick for the read-along. Martine from Just Martine and Bailey from Ms. Bailey Reading host a read-along where we read Junie B. Jones books and also nonfiction every other month, like self-help, personal development type nonfiction. And this was just okay. I think as a self-help finance book goes, it was like maybe better than I was expecting, but it was not great. There were some things in the tone that just didn't sit right with me. And I just felt like it wasn't personally useful to me. Like, the problems it was talking about are not necessarily the problems I have. And I also felt like it kind of was too, I don't know how to say this, but it was too almost equivocating. Like, I don't know if that's a word or the word that I'm looking for, but it, like, was too much trying to appeal to everyone in a way that it ended up appealing to no one. But we had a great discussion about it in the Junie B. Jones live show, which I will link down below if I remember. And yeah, it was just okay. I gave it 3 stars. And then I read Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Shannon McGuire. This is book 10 in the Wayward Children series. I got this on NetGalley as an ARC. I have loved the Wayward Children series. And unfortunately, I didn't love this one. From the 10th book, I was expecting more. especially because I feel like I've heard that there's only going to be 10 books, so this would be the last one. And it just really didn't feel like it was the last book in a series. It really felt like a middle book. And maybe there are going to be more, which I would be happy to read. I'm happy to read more. But it really just didn't feel fun or engaging to me in the way that some of the others had. It wasn't bad by any means. I gave it 3 stars. I think the writing is still very good. It just was disappointing to me in terms of having loved this series and just not loving this one. So yeah, 3 stars for that one. And then I read Malice by John Gwynne, which was the catch-up, is for the catch-up book club hosted by Becca and the Books, which I haven't participated in before. Like, I haven't participated in that book club before, but I saw they were reading this series, and I've really wanted to read this series. And I actually didn't finish it in time for the live show, but I'm kind of reading it on their schedule a little bit. And Malice was really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. And I feel like this series has so much potential to be a 5-star series. There were parts in which it dragged a little bit, and parts that were a little tropey and cliche, but not in a super bad way. I really, really liked it. I was really engaged. I've heard someone describe it as Skyrim, but in a book, and I've never played Skyrim, but I do feel like that is true. I just gestured with my cup, my glass, my plastic, and it almost spilled, but it didn't. We follow so many characters, it's really kind of confusing at first and hard to get into, but it's an epic fantasy that I just thought was really excellent. So, highly recommend that series, and I will continue to update you over this year as I read one every 2 months. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I don't really know what to tell you it's about. It's kind of a classic epic fantasy story about the God War and the warring kingdoms and the chosen one and all of these tropes, but I just thought it was so engaging and so well done, and I really felt for all the characters, so I'm really excited to continue the series. And then the final book that I read in January was Desert Creatures by Kay Chronister. This was the Shelf This Book Club pick for January. The Shelf This Book Club is hosted by Bailey at Is Bailey Reading and has rotating hosts who picks the books. And this book was picked by Adriana from Carbon Bonded Books. And I just love that book club. But this was just fine. I gave it 3 stars. This is about a journey through the desert. And there's religious commentary, and we're following a child's perspective at first, and it's a horror-ish, it's a horror/sci-fi dystopian maybe, and it's really weird and hard to tell what's going on, and I was kind of into it. There's 3 parts. The first part, I was like, what even is this? I don't know if I care. And then the second part, I was really into it, and then the third part, I was like, you didn't wrap it up for me. So just okay, but I am interested in reading more from Kay Chronister. I think this was her debut, and she has a more recent book called The Bog Wife, which I have heard of. I think that's more popular, so I would be interested to read that, but this one didn't really do it for me. We had a good discussion about it. Most of us felt pretty meh about it. Cheyenne from Cheyenne Buck Books, whose channel I've been loving lately, actually. Shout out. Should have put this in the favorites at the beginning. Favorite BookTube channel. I've been loving Cheyenne's channel. She's very new to BookTube, but has been hanging out in BookTube spaces for a while, like Wonderthon and Squash That Series and those things that I participate in. And I would highly recommend checking out her channel, so I will link it down below. But yeah, she loved it, so I love that for her. But the rest of us kind of felt a little meh about it. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Those are the books that I read in January. February, I have grand plans. I've got grand vlog plans. I've got grand reading plans. I've got grand life plans. I don't know, but I am doing it. So I'll keep you posted. I will let you know how that goes. Like this video, comment down below if you've read any of these books or if you're interested, or just comment down below some of your faves from the month. Bookish, TV, music, whatever. And I will see you in the next one, coming very soon. Bye.